What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What is up? How are y'all doing after that episode of Dairy? Whew. Um, I tried to tell y'all this was a lot. This was a heavy one, but let's get started. I am your host, Emmanuel Eman Noisette. I want to thank each and every one of y'all for coming out and hanging out with me today. I want to give a quick shout out, real quick. Like, listen, we are about to talk about Welcome to Dairy, episode 7. This is your spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. If you're watching on the gram, spoiler alert. Let me put it up here real quick. We are talking Welcome to Dairy. Hold on. Let me correct that because it's actually episode 7. We are talking about episode 7, Welcome to Dairy. If you have not seen episode 7, I need you to go watch it. It's all good. You can come on back to the replay. If you're watching on YouTube, you'd already know. You can do it on the replay, gang. But we are talking spoilers throughout about episode 7 for Welcome to Dairy. That is your warning. That is your warning. Okay. So don't come in here complaining. With that said, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. This was a ride. This was a ride. So much drama. So much trauma and drama. Whoo. Listen, I don't know about y'all, but this episode got me charged up. This episode, I was sitting here thinking to myself, like, y'all just not gonna stop? Like, can y'all slow down? Can you please slow down? I haven't even gotten over that first part, and then y'all gonna keep going? All right. You guys know what it is. We got to go through. First of all, I'm sorry. Let me not be rude. Let's see who made it out. Give a couple shout outs, and then we'll get started. Oh my goodness. Gothic Chick, thank you so much for being here. Always a pleasure. Paulette, hello. Dexter Reason, good to see you. My man Jay is here. Black Prophet, how you doing? CK, how are you? My man Mitch is here. What is up? Animals are cute. What is up? Onward, hello. My man Lou is here. Matthew, how you doing? Eugene, what is up? Laura, appreciate you coming through. Clinton, how you doing? Coop the Bully. Coop, man, I feel like it's been a minute. Good to see you, man. What's up, Mike? See, why Mike gotta be like this? You know what? Did y'all finish playing? Y'all not even finished playing. You need to watch out. Because your little Chiefs, they look like they on the verge right now. Okay. They not looking too hot right now. Okay. Don't talk about my Bears while your Chiefs out here struggling against the Texans. Come on now. Okay. Ew, I don't like that. Ooh, y'all are coming up a little bit. I don't like that. Anyway, who else is here? Deborah, good to see you. Treese, good to see you too. My man Minister Crush is here. What is going on, Tracy? Appreciate you so much. Vanessa, how you doing? My man T-Mac is back. Taz, thank you so much for coming back. Appreciate you both. Say how you doing. Callow, funny. T-Ville, how you doing? Tanya, always a pleasure. Chanel, how you doing? Who else? I saw last of my kin is here. Appreciate you. Ocho, how you doing? Terish, hello. Who else did I see? There we go. Ms. Sag, how you doing? Shout out to everyone that has made it out tonight, guys. We've got so much to talk about. So much to go through with all these emotions. Because they hit us with a whole emotional roller coaster with this episode. It's nuts. It's crazy. Let's get into it. Oh, all right. So first off, we start off with 1908. Okay. Now keep in mind, we're doing the cycles. This is 27 years on top of 27 years on top of 27 years. So we're going back, way back in the time. And this is where we find out that Pennywise, this is actually where we get introduced to Bob Gray, who is the original Pennywise, right? and he is the original dancing clown, right? He's not some monster or anything like that. That's just him, right? He is just an ordinary guy doing these little circus acts or whatnot. And it was interesting because I thought this performance that he did, I thought it was actually a performance about his dead wife, which was also like, dang, that's how we gonna kick this off. Like, I didn't get it at first, and then I saw it again. I was like, oh, he might be mourning his wife here, but he's trying to make it a part of the show. So, and I guess become friends with a beaver or something. I don't know. Anyway, you see here that there are all these kids in attendance that are watching. And by the way, we get another little cameo from Andy Muschietti, the director here. And while we're going through this, you see that, like, even as the end of the show is closing, all these kids start to run up on the stage. First of all, these some bad little kids, right? All these kids bum rush the stage. Who knows where their parents are, right? And this is clearly the point where Pennywise is like, you know what, like, I've had enough, and he dips out, he leaves, because this is getting a little ridiculous, right? And in the distance, now at first I thought that this was actually the little girl. I thought that this was little Mrs. Kirsch, but it's not. This is actually that little boy that we see later on, who's actually Pennywise. So Pennywise was always watching the show, and we get a chance to see him watch the real Pennywise attract all these little kids and get them to follow him and all of that. So this is where it all began, with that little kid watching from back then. Now we go and we actually see the young Mrs. Kirsch, and we see her along with her dad. This is what her dad actually looked like, Mr. Bob Gray. And, we see her dressing up. And, even as they play around, we learn that, Pennywise's wife used to be his co-star named Periwinkle. And that's what he was going to name, his daughter, and he also misses the Big Tent Circus. So right now he's not really living it up, nor is he living his dream, with this traveling circus instead. Now, we do get to hear how they both connect, and you see from the daughter that she really looked up to her dad and really loved him, and vice versa, right? Especially given the loss of her mother, his wife. Now, before another show happens, we do see that Pennywise is out there having a smoke or whatnot, and we see his handkerchief as well. And we also see that there's this little kid that just pops up out the woods. Never mind how weird that could just be, but again, I guess it's a traveling circus. Maybe kids are walking around all over the place. And the little kid is like, hey, them other kids, they seem real drawn to you, right? And of course, this is Pennywise in disguise. And keep in mind, this is probably a child that Pennywise actually already killed, because he primarily takes the shape of people that he has already consumed. So anyway, this kid is asking for help, and he's like, hey, I need you to help me find my parents. They in the woods somewhere. I can't find them. Will you help me? Pennywise was like, nope, I'm busy. Get somebody else to do it. This was hilarious. I'm sorry, I laughed. You gonna have a whole clown just be like, I'm not here to help you. You think I care? Let me drink my fine wine. Go away from me. That was hilarious to me. But then all of a sudden you hear a scream in the woods, and Pennywise, or the little kid, takes his hand and they go in. They go in, because now that they actually hear the screams and stuff, they go in, and we already know he's not coming back, right? So this is how and where Pennywise actually consumes and murders Pennywise, the original clown, and probably begins to start taking his shape at this point. Now we see the Mrs. Kirsch, the little child version, come in looking for her dad. She can't find him. And while she's looking around, the carnies, they find his handkerchief and it's full of blood in the woods, and they believe that maybe some wolves got to him. And this is the beginning where we see that her trauma, her childhood trauma, truly does begin. Because keep in mind, the whole thing with her is the fact that she lost her dad and she wants her dad back. That was all she had, right? She lost her mom. Now she lost her dad at a young age. This is why she's emotionally scarred all this time. Now we go back to the black spot. And if you recall, this is where the gang of, and let's just call them what they are, white supremacists, right? They showed up to take justice into their own hands against Hank, because they knew that Hank was hiding out here, which, by the way, probably was Mrs. Kirsch that was the snitch. Okay, I don't think we talked about that, but I think she was more than likely the one that snitched off and said that Hank was hiding out here. So, which is, you got to think about how screwed up that is. Hank was messing around with this lady. I thought that they had like a genuine connection of some sort, but apparently that was not enough. It was not enough, and she turned on him because she wanted to see her daddy. She chose her people before Hank. Let that marinate for a second. Anywho, it looks like, while they're here and they're trying to confront all the people there, we see Rich on the drums. One of the white supremacists, they actually kind of noticed that one of the girls there, they noticed this one right here. I immediately got Sinners vibes. But anyway. And told her to hurry up and go home, right? So as they continue, tensions are rising. Things are getting real tense at this point. Now Hank comes out and he's like, "Hey, everybody chill out, man. This is, man, we just out here having some fun." I'm sorry. Dick comes out. Halloran comes out, not Hank. Halloran comes out and he's like, "Look, just chill out. Everybody's fine, whatever." But they're not buying it. And of course, now Hank actually comes out because he wants to spare everyone else. He already knows. Keep in mind, this is Jim Crow. They know that these racist mobs already don't care, and they will do whatever they want as long as they can get whatever slice of justice that they want to call it, as long as they can get that handle. So Hank comes out and says, "Hey, listen, man, let me just spare everybody, take me, leave them all alone." And as he was about to go along with the lynch mob, the other black brothers was like, "Nah, man, hold up. You ain't going nowhere." Right? They were going to protect him. Now, the racists, they was like, nah. You see the guns, okay? We want that man, Hank, and we want him right now. But what the racists forgot was that these black men were also soldiers who were also heavily armed. Like, you literally came onto a military base, whether it was black, white, or not, they got guns too. And that's when things started to get even more tense. So as both of them started to realize, like, maybe this ain't what we wanted. We didn't expect this part. So they put their hands up and said, "All right, we out of here. Let's go, boys. Let's head on out." And as they leave, unfortunately, we hear the doors being chained up and locked, and that's when we realize they are all locked inside. And they look outside, and the racists start to throw fire bombs at the building to set it all on fire. And this is when absolute chaos ensues. While the fires are burning, the racists are also shooting people, like who actually make it out. If they do break a window and escape, they're getting gunned down. And through all this mayhem, Dick started to actually see dead soldiers walking around. So you got this literal real life situation going on, and Dick still has these crazy images of these dead people walking around at the same time. So this is clearly a lot for him to handle mentally. He runs to the ice box, and if you recall, he mentioned in the previous episode how it was leaking and how it could cause an issue for the floor. So naturally, he already started to go for the floor, and he was kicking the floorboards in because they were already weak from the water damage anyway. Now, I don't know if y'all noticed this, but Dick was kind of bogus. My man Dick was about to dip out and not help anybody. Did y'all know that? He didn't say, hey, everybody, follow me. Nah, he was about to leave. Dick was not caring about nobody else. My man was like, hey, I told y'all I didn't want to be part of this, right? And he was about to just be up out of there. Anyway, right before he was about to leave and dip out, he started to see a Native American woman. This was the chief warrior, I believe. And this was the one who, if I'm not mistaken, was the one who fought against Pennywise in the past. So rather than letting her just wander around, Dick actually called out to her. And if you notice, usually when the dead people are dead, their eyes are all white. But this time, when he actually called out to her, her eyes started to fill in. And I think that's the indication that we get of when the dead is actually aware of somebody. Because remember, Dick said earlier that when they're walking around, they don't know where they're going, they don't know what's going on. But like, if you talk to them, if you get their attention, that's when they will start to notice you. And I think that's how we start to get that transition, is when their eyes fill in, right? So now she takes notice of Dick. She knows that he's there, and she can hear him. He can talk to her, etc. Then we see this young black woman, and she's being approached by a figure that, by the way, even in the midst of chaos and death, why is Pennywise still doing his little fun sidestep all the way to her? He still got to dance his way to his victims. I'm telling y'all, ain't nobody more petty than this guy. He's having fun while people are dying. Now Ronnie, she sees this, and she sees this young woman, I don't know why she would grab Pennywise's hand out of all people, but she sees this happening, and unfortunately, she sees Pennywise devouring her and eating her head, her face. Now, Halloran comes in, thankfully, to help Ronnie, and Pennywise, he's like, oh, I see you, man. I see you. But then he also lets him know that not only do I see you, but all the dead people can see you too. And he's doing this to further torment Halloran. So this clearly is not good, because now that he has all these dead people that are now they're now aware of Halloran. This is a problem. Maybe this is illusion. We don't know yet. But Halloran ends up using the Native American chief warrior to find the other kids, right? Now we go outside, and this just, shout out to the acting, the directing for sure. But just this scene right here, it bothered me, because you got to be a special kind of trash. You got to have a special kind of hatred in your heart to just casually watch and hear people burning alive and dying. This is why I do not feel for racists, because they don't feel for nobody. They don't even look at these people as being human. I don't feel for none of them. Now, again, these are characters and all that, but still, this is why I don't like racism at all, because it dehumanizes people. It makes you do terrible, horrible things just like this. Anyway, as all this is happening and they start to head out, they start to leave or whatever, By the way, I just want to say one other thing. Just one other thing. Because this is the guy I want y'all to look at his face too. This guy, and I know we're talking about fictional characters. This guy is probably still alive. Right? Like these people, this is why I be sitting here, and I'm not saying it's all old white people. I'm not saying that at all. But you know what? When I see old white people, I cannot help but to just ask the question, where were you? What were you doing? Did you just watch? Like I just have questions. I just want to know, what were you doing in 1962? What were you doing? Anyway, is that the father? Oh, okay. Is it? Oh, that was the father of the one of the kids that died. Okay. Yeah. Well, I wonder, does this help? Do you feel better now? Your kids got killed, but does this actually bring them back? Probably not. Anyway, racism is not fulfilling, FYI. We do see that Halloran and Hank, they're using the help. They're trying to get the other kids out of there. They get Will, they get Ronnie, but they still got to go find Rich and Marge. Halloran tries to go back for them, but the fire is just too intense. It's too crazy. Meanwhile, Hank was able to go outside in the back, and it was only because the other racists left. But we do see my boy Rich and Marge. They do find an ice box to get into, and he tells her to get in. But y'all, we got a Titanic situation. We got a Titanic situation where now he's like, yo, there's not enough room for the both of us. He lets Marge get in, and he closes the door. Man, this was a tough scene. Marge is screaming. She knows what Rich is trying to do to protect her. But Rich was like, hey, listen, I'm a knight, just like we talked about, right? And a knight lays down his life, especially for his lady. And he shares some fond memories with her. And they both tell each other how much they love one another as the end draws near. And my boy Rich, oh, it's not good. It's not good. Oh man, that's a scene. That's a scene right there. Meanwhile, here goes racist Mr. Kirsch, and he can't get his car started. Then out in the woods, we see Mrs. Kirsch, who's dressed up as the clown, and she's approaching him. And as she approaches him, she's like, hey, this is my true self. This is what I am. This is how I look and all of that. And he's like, man, if you don't take that stuff off. But that's when Pennywise showed up and sliced his head right off. You know what? Sometimes justice comes in the form that you did not know. Just saying. I'm not rooting for Pennywise at all, but I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all, But this moment was definitely something kind of interesting because, Mrs. Kirsch, keep in mind, she truly believes at this point that this is her actual dad, but he's just possessed. Pennywise has just possessed him. Some demon possessed him, but that's really her dad to her. Meanwhile, he's eating Mr. Kirsch's head. And she said, listen, I knew that there would be pain. I knew that there would be blood that would draw you out. So she's definitely the snitch. She definitely did this to create chaos that would draw Pennywise out. She did all of that. And while she's telling him all of this stuff, and he's just eating away, he's like, hey, why don't you go ahead and take a bow? Take a bow, just pretending to be like her dad. And her goofy self goes and does it. Because She's still traumatized. She's still traumatized. She still thinks that's her dad, whatever, you know. And she's just going along with this. So much so that not only does she bow to this monster, and he plays along. He's clapping and everything, like, ooh, good girl. Like, he's just playing along with all of this. She actually goes and hugs it. Can y'all believe she is hugging this monster that just ate a whole human brain just right in front of her? And it was so funny because while she was hugging him, she was like, I love you. And y'all already know, sometimes when you with that one person that's a little too crazy and they say I love you, look at Pennywise's face. He was like, would you look at the time? Oh man, I'm sleepy. Yup. Yep. He never said I loved you back. Y'all notice that he never said. It was right when she said I love you. He was like, night night. Time to go. Pennywise ain't slick. He's not slick. But he does know that this chick is crazy. He does know that. Anyway, he said he's going to sleep and he'll be back. You know, he was like, listen, don't worry. You know, I'll be back every 27 years. You know how this goes. We've only been doing this a couple times, right? And right before he was about to leave, now you know she lost her mind. She done grabbed his hand and told him, no, you're not leaving. You can't leave me. Ooh, Pennywise turned around like he was Ike Turner, and that was Anna Mae who didn't want to eat the cake. He was like, are you mad? He said, let go of me. Unhand me. Are you crazy? And that was the point when Mrs. Kirsch finally realized, it finally dawned on her, that wasn't her damn daddy at all. And she starts to unravel, right? She starts to lose it because Pennywise, he don't care. He's gonna be like, I am your daddy. Like, he's just making fun of her and everything. You know, it's real messed up when you make fun of somebody who got real traumatic issues and you don't care. You gonna make fun of them anyway. Ooh, talk about the epitome of evil. He don't care about none of that. And we see that she's unraveling to the point where she's even taking the costume off and everything. She can't take it no more. She's like, you not my daddy. It's not real. Blah, blah, blah. He said, what up? Girl, be quiet. Look at these glowing deadlights. I'm tired of your talking. Now, for those of you that don't know, the deadlights it's basically like it's Pennywise's true form, right? It's like having someone look at what he really is, right? Because the clown appearance, that's not real, that's just his outer, appearance. But the lights, he's really a being of light. And when you look into these deadlights, it causes a form of paralysis. It can make people go insane. Or for some people, it might kill you. Like, you might just die. It could trap people's souls in like this terrifying state. Now, if you recall from, I want to say it was It Chapter 2, we saw more of the deadlights and stuff. But now we get to see Pennywise doing that here. And this is how he will paralyze his victims or just kill them sometimes. So anyway, she got. She done seen the lights, and not in the best way. So Pennywise did that to her. I guess he was tired of her overall. Firefighters show up, and they do find Marge in the box. But we also find my boy Rich. Rich didn't make it. He did. Man, this was tough. Like, my man went all out for his girl. Went all out. And he couldn't make it. But listen, if I had something here, I'd pour one out for my boy Rich. He did the thing. Shout out to Rich. Oh, this show does not like kids. This show does not like children. Let's can we just think about this? So this show, Welcome to Derry, has kidnapped kids in a car with a fake family to kill them with a fake baby, trapped them in the theater, tormented them with a giant flying evil baby, dismembered all of them, tortured all of them with hallucinations, with a dead daddy or they dead mama, pickle dad, whatever. You had these kids popping mollies. You had them drinking Air Force Cokes. Then you burnt them alive. If this show is not the epitome of FTK, I don't know what is. I don't. Y'all might as well just call it Welcome to Derry FTK. Just put it in the title, because that's what this show is. Like, I mean, y'all just doing whatever to these kids. Whew. But yes, my man Rich did go out as a hero. Shout out to him. He was a real knight. But oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Now, while they were outside, we see this little girl laughing. Now, y'all let me know, because she took her wig off and everything. I'm sitting here wondering, like, is she going crazy? Or is this Pennywise? I don't think it's Pennywise, because sometimes, we would know if Pennywise took over somebody and, started to pretend to laugh at the whole situation. I think she's gone crazy, mainly because Pennywise supposedly has gone back to sleep. So I think she's lost her mind for sure. And we also see Mrs. Kirsch, but she didn't die. She is currently in that state of paralysis, but you saw her eyes move. So I'm guessing she's in some sort of paralyzed state of insanity. Like, she's still around, but not really. I don't know. But yeah, Pennywise done did a number on her. So we see Leroy and Charlotte. They show up. They meet up with Will. And Leroy goes back to check on Halloran. But Halloran ain't doing all right. He's not doing right at all. And like I said, it seems like Pennywise might have done maybe some extra damage to him, because remember, before, the dead did not know. They were not aware of him at all unless he spoke to them or got their attention. But now it seems like they all know about him. And remember what I told you about their eyes. When their eyes are all white, they can't see nothing. But now they can see Halloran. They're talking to him. They're asking him questions. They're bothering him. They are all tormenting him. So I think Pennywise unleashed another level on him with this. And it's messing him up. It's messing him up. So anyway, they meet up with Hank in the woods. Of course, they're going to go take care of him. They got to hide him away somewhere. And the military folks show up, and Halloran lets them know that Pennywise, he's not around anymore. It's like the lights went out, right? Whatever that evil presence was, it's over with. It's done. It's turned off. And we know this because, again, he goes to sleep every 27 years. Who knew that Pennywise would have to catch the itis in order to go to sleep every year? Because keep in mind, there has to be this crazy, murderous situation where he gets filled up and then he goes to sleep because of the itis. Crazy work. Anyway, Halloran also lets them know that, like, we can find the other pillar thanks to that war chief. There was a war chief that, he saw in the black spot, and they're aware of each other, so they can communicate, and she can lead them to one of the other pillars, not the dagger, but the other pillar. So, now they have that clue. Leroy tells Charlotte, look, take Hank back to their place since no one is going to look for them on the base over there. He tells her that, listen, you know what? We're going to get the hell up out of Derry when this is all done. Pennywise is asleep. We out of here. This has got to be. the smartest thing this man has said the entire show. It's probably the smartest thing anyone has said the whole show, right? Yes, it's time to leave. Everyone has to go. But here's the thing. We go back to Derry, and you can hear on the radio what happened at the black spot. And I want you to pay attention to the racist spin that this media started to turn. First of all, they announced that Hank was dead, right? They called the black spot an illegal speakeasy outside of town, which it wasn't illegal. They blamed black people for starting the fire. And because, it wasn't just black people there. There was a couple other people there, Mark, Rich, and, other people. They blamed the black people for killing those others that were trying to help treat the wounded. And again, they started to cover up for the death of the racist Mr. Kirsch, who died, and they tried to make him sound like a hero and all of that. Yeah. So we know that Hank is considered dead. This is a positive for him so far, because now they're not going to go looking for him, right? Anyway, Rose lets all of her people know that, like, listen, the cycle is now complete. There was so many people that died, but of course they have to find comfort in the many people that they saved. They know that every 27 years people are going to die. They know that this is going to happen. It's been happening for centuries. I'm not going to lie. This dude was funny as hell, and he had me cracking up when he was like, well, see y'all mofos back in 27 years. I laughed. He has been nonchalant about this whole thing from the entire time, the whole time, But yes, they did actually save the rest of the people in Derry. However you want to call it. I'm not saying it's a good save, but think about the fact that the whole point of keeping Pennywise contained is so that he does not go out to the rest of the world, because he would destroy the whole world. He will not just stop. If we've already seen how powerful he can be in a limited space, he can show up in multiple areas. Remember when he showed up as Maddie? He was Maddie, but then he was doing allusions to other people outside of that. If he's able to go outside of that space, everybody's popped. Everyone is done for. So, they saved basically everybody else, right? Anyway, but yeah, this guy right here, hilarious. Now, anyway, we do see here the military is getting back to business. They're looking for these pillars. General Shaw pulls up as they continue to search for the pillar. Now, Halloran keeps popping off at the mouth at no matter who's talking to him, and I love it. Like, even when General Shaw came up, he was like, man, what the hell you think is going on, man? He don't care about your rank. He don't care about your file. He don't care about none of that. But what I like is how everybody actually does understand that he's actually going through it, so they kind of give him a pass. Y'all remember, he did kind of get Leroy the other time when he was like, man, you just out here to lick this man's boots, right? But they know Halloran is going through a whole lot of something else. And once again, we do see here that the Native American lady is here. She's the one that's guiding them or guiding him to help them find the pillar. Now, Charlotte, she does try to call Rose to help Hank, and Will, he wanted to go out with his friends because they wanted to go tell Lily about Rich. But especially now that it is asleep, and that he's not a threat anymore. But his mom was like, hell no, sit your butt down. Listen, y'all got one monster asleep, but there are other monsters out in this town, the racists. So yeah, Will, you ain't going nowhere. Okay. And I can't blame her as a mom, as a parent. Like, no, you're not going outside when there was a fresh lynch mob just less than 24 hours ago that almost killed you. Hell no. Ain't nothing for you to go see outside. Shoot, we got outside, inside. Stay your butt in the room, please. Anyway, Hank is wearing Leroy's uniform and he's worried that somebody's going to recognize him. And Charlotte was like, what? Recognize you in this town where all the blacks look the same to all the people in the town? You'll be all right. Hank was like, yeah, you right. Yeah, you right. You right. You right. So anyway, we do see the Ronnie and Marge, they go off to Lily's house because they want to go see how she's holding up, and she ain't holding up right at all. But the one thing she is doing is holding real tight. She got a kung fu grip on that pillar, on that dagger. She is not letting that thing go. And clearly this thing is taking a toll on her mind or something because she don't look right. Now, we already know Lily's a little traumatized. Okay, we already know she already going through a couple things. But I don't think this dagger is making it any better. We saw her snapping on her friends before, and now that's a problem. And listen, ain't no bigger red flag than when you open up a door and the dog was chilling with you and the dog want to get the hell up out of there as fast as possible. That dog said, pew, I'm out of here. Because that dog already knows that pillar is a problem, right? That dog was out of there so fast. So anyway, Marge and Ronnie, they tell Lily about the fire and the bad news with Rich. And of course, this is just devastating, right? This is devastating to hear about all of this. They go back to the hideout. We do see Rich's plane. Keep in mind, he's always trying to fly his plane. He wanted the plane to make it to Main Street, but he just never could. Last time we saw it, and remember, maybe that was foreshadowing. Dang, I think that was foreshadowing. Remember, Rich in the last episode, he threw his airplane and it went into the sewers. I think they were foreshadowing to us. I didn't get it till I just thought about it. They were telling us Rich was going to die. Dang. I just realized that. Oh my gosh. Yeah. They let us know. Man, that's really messed up. Anyway, they look at the plane and they think about Rich, and the gang have their nice little moment. And we go back and we see that it looks like the military have actually, followed the directions, followed the instructions from Halloran, and they have found the pillar. They found the pillar. Shout out to the turtle. That's another shout out to the what is that, Matern, the god or whatnot, the turtle god. But they find the pillar, and this is where things start to take a little bit of turn because Leroy was told to stand down, but now the new orders are to bring the pillar in for further examination. The problem here is that the pillar being removed from its location, it leaves a gap in the circle of protection. Remember, the Native Americans in the past, they took all those pieces and made a circle, a perimeter around to keep Pennywise contained. But when you take one of those pieces out, and if you don't shrink that circle back down, you're basically leaving, and this is what Leroy was saying, you're leaving the door to the cage open. So clearly, the military is either incompetent or they're up to something. Because yes, Pennywise is sleeping, but you don't know if he sleeps because of the cage or if he sleeps for any other reason. You don't know. But y'all just gonna sit here and leave this door open like that? Nah, suspect. Hella suspect. Not good at all. And while they're doing this, of course, Daniel does see this and he's like, oh, I don't like the look of this. And he's ready to snitch, right? Anyway, Charlotte pulls up to Rose's house with Hank. And Charlotte says, listen, you said I needed a friend and this is the time, right? She basically needs help from Rose to help sneak Hank across the border and try to get him some new papers and stuff like that. At the military base, we do see that the scientists, they're about to do some crazy stuff. They about to put this pillar in some extreme heat for testing purposes. That is until, and I don't know why they want to really do this, but that is until Leroy shows up, right? And he's like, put that down. Y'all not about to do that, not on my watch. He tells them to shut it all down. Then, of course, everybody starts to raise their guns and everything. I don't know what he thought was going to happen on a military base, but they stop right on time. And then right before they about to pull it on him, General Shaw ends up telling everybody else, yo, put your guns down, stop it. Leroy, come on up here so we can talk, right? So, of course, this is where we start to find out Shaw's true motivations. He says that the problem is not just the Russians or the wars, it's actually domestic, right? He brings up that, oh, you got all these women's out here with their movements and the race riots and more. And he believes that the solution to making people listen is fear, right? He wants people to fall in line. He wants people to get back into their place because of the fear. And Leroy realizes that you just want to release Pennywise in your own backyard. You really do think that you can, not even that whether you can control it, you want to give people something to be afraid of so that way they can calm down, right? And, you know, Shaw, he sits here and he points to the crazy tragedy at the black spot. And he was like, listen, that was tragic. It was bad. No, I don't like the fact that it happened. But look what happened after. Everybody is calm. Everybody's all good. Everybody feels safe. It's fine after the fear. And Leroy says, man, you done lost your whole mind. Are you crazy? And he says, listen, I'm about to go snitch to them IG officers, to the DOD. We're gonna take care of this real fast. We're gonna take it. I'm telling everybody. And I was so mad Leroy did this. I was like, dude, first of all, if you ever about to report on your superior officer, shut up. Why you gotta tell them that? First of all, you a black man. Second of all, you inferior to them. Like, you're not even like on the ranks and stuff. You know, this is the man that organized a group of people to beat you up just to try and get some information up out of you. You don't think that he could organize some other people to come and just kill you because you about to go blow his cover? Shut up, Leroy. Golly. Anyway, you know, there was some interesting insight also about General Shaw. Now, I know at first reaction, it feels like he's just a mean, evil dude. Actually, if you really want to think about it, he's a conservative, right? He is a conservative. Now, I'm not talking about today's political ideologies because we all know conservative today ain't what it used to be back then. It's probably something completely different. But he's a conservative. He came up during a time of war, of, you know, where America, well, I'm sorry, white America was more united when they had a common enemy. World War I, World War II. Remember the days that we actually used to be against fascism? Yeah, we used to fight against that. Anyway, that's where he came up. That's where he's actually pulling from. So no, he's not sitting here thinking to himself, oh, I just want to kill everybody and I want people to die. That's not what he's thinking. He's not trying to be evil. He's dumb and he's misguided, but he does believe that what he's doing is, I'm trying to give people a common enemy, something to be afraid of, whether that's the fascists in Germany, whether that's the nuclear weapons from Russia. When people are scared, they come together and they band together. Let's be honest, that's kind of what happened during 9/11. People started to, there was this manufactured fear about anyone that was Muslim, and all of a sudden, people started to be like, hey, you know what? We don't need to be racist right now, but we do need to be xenophobic. We do need to start like hey, sexism, racism. Hey, even the gays over there, we're not gonna bother y'all. We're gonna worry about these other terrorists first, right? So that's where he's pulling this from. That's where he's really coming from with all of this. And again, he's absolutely wrong, but he's trying to bring it back to the good old days when we used to be scared and then unite behind that and have peace. Whatever. Anyway, he tells the scientist, hey, forget what this man talking about. Go ahead, keep on going with it. We about to sit here and keep testing that pillar. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're trying to actually destroy the pillar, because I don't know how putting it in this extreme heat is actually going to help, but I think they're trying to destroy it. And of course, Leroy tries to pull his gun, but then they pull the gun on him. So that's not going anywhere. And as they proceed with the pillar, and this is why I think the pillar is being destroyed, because what happens? We go right to Pennywise. First of all, this is disgusting. This thing goes to sleep in the body and blood of his victims. This is disgusting. But Pennywise said, oh, word? Did somebody ring? Like, is it time to play again? He's like a bad little kid that needed to take a nap, but somebody played some music or they turned the TV on too loud, and the little kid done woke up and said, it's time to do bad things with my friends, and I want to smoke cigarettes and just, I want to do bad things. It's just a bad, evil kid. Because now he's like, oh, I want you to put the word out. I'm back. Put the word back out on them streets. I'm back. So with that, we go back to the Hanlon place, and the phone rings, and Ronnie calls, and she's talking to Will. And then all of a sudden the voice starts to change, and Will is like, hold up, man, this ain't no dang on Ronnie. Nah, man, I know this voice. Man, you're not finna scare me. Okay, this Big Willie style. What you talking about? I'm not scared of you. No, we ain't doing that around here. Pennywise was like, oh, word, turn around. Ha ha. Bingo, I'm here. Oh, as he turns around, Pennywise is perched up on his fridge, stares this little boy down, and hits Will with the deadlights. He hits him with the deadlights. And y'all, our boy Will. He got our boy Will. Oh my gosh, Will. And that's how the episode ends. Yikes. What a cliffhanger. What a cliffhanger. All right. This is the point where I need you guys to do what you do. Give me your review, give me your rating for this episode on a scale from 0 to 10. And I will give you my thoughts on this episode while you do that. First and foremost, fantastic episode. I don't recall the last time an episode had me so emotionally gripped. I think the directing was superb. The black spot scene was shot perfectly well. It felt like straight up chaos. My anxiety started to go up, like as if I were in the fire with them. And I think a lot of that had to do with the camera work and the cinematography. So, stupendous job with making me feel that real danger. And then to have me in a place of anxiety and anxiousness to feel sad because of what happened with Rich. I keep telling people, you know you're watching something good when you allow the show, or when the show is able to emotionally manipulate you. And that's what this show did. I went from anxious to scared to sad. Y'all sprinkled in a couple laughs here and there. And I liked the fact that we were able to progress the story a little bit more. We got more information about what the motives are for these characters. And more importantly, I mean, just story-wise, this is an amazing setup. There's no way you can end this episode the way that you did and not want to watch the last episode. That to me is great story writing. So I think for this episode, I've got to give this, man, I think I'm gonna give this a 9.5 out of 10. Fantastic suspense, great action, great drama, great acting, great writing. This is what you want. This is what you want. So let me see, where did the people land with this though? Bop, 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 ba-da, bop, bop. Shout out to my boy Rich. Oh, oh, oh. 10, 10, 10, 9. We got an 8. 10, 10, 10, 10, 9.5, 10. I feel like I'm lower than y'all. 10, 10, 10, 10, 9, 9.5, 8.5, 9.5, 10, 9.5, 9.5, 10. Woo, we going strong. 9, 10. A somber 9, a 9, a somber 10. I'm sorry. 9, 9, 9.5. I get any more? I think a 7. That was a 7. Okay. 10. We got some stragglers. Who else? 10. Who else? I saw some other folks. 10, 8, 7.5. Man, y'all some hard. Don't call me a harsh critic. 9. Okay, guys. That's it. We got it. We love this episode. I think it's safe to say we love this episode. That is it for episode 7 of Welcome to Derry. I can tell you guys this right now. Episode 8 is the last episode. I've told you guys this before, and I'm going to stress this even more. If you've been slacking, you have a week to do this. Go watch It Chapter 1 one more time. If you haven't watched it within the last 2 weeks, it's time for you to go watch that episode. Don't come in here being like, hey man, is this what happened? Don't ask me no questions. I'm telling you right now, go rewatch It Chapter 1. Feel free to watch Chapter 2, but go rewatch Chapter 1 before you go watch the next episode. And then thank me later. I'm trying to help y'all. I'm trying to help y'all have a much more fulfilling viewing experience. Okay? With that said, episode 8. We have a lot to talk about. We will be here same time next week, because this is it. This is it. Yes, I have watched The Mist. I love The Mist. One of my favorite movies. Just amazing. Amazing. We'll be here next week. We are going to talk about this episode, the season finale. Do not miss it. I don't care who's playing what football game. Don't miss it. Don't let nobody spoil the end for episode 8 for you. Don't let them mess it up. This ain't the time to skip. This ain't the time. You have been warned. All right, guys, you know the routine. Wash your hands, wash your butts, and everything in between. And until next time, we'll see you guys later. Peace.